Before I begin, make sure you subscribe to the Rumble channel for Franchise Sports TV under the name FSTV22. These are for the spicier joints I don't want to put on YouTube because YouTube be tripping these days a lot. Also, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, first time on here as well. So let me get into this right quick. It's actually my second time recording this because the first time I recorded this, the audio wasn't to my pleasing. I think I did something wrong on the previous video recording. But anyways, so lately I've been watching 9 hours. I haven't got through the 9 hours, but 9 hours of the Chicago Bulls run in the 90s. All 6 finals series. I finished, of course, the 91 finals, where the Bulls won 4-1 to Magic Johnson and Los Angeles Lakers. Just finished the 92 finals, where the Bulls beat the Portland Trailblazers 4-2. And I'm just starting the 93 finals, which they do play Phoenix. There's one thing I wanted to know about Phoenix right quick, the Phoenix Suns, because I know their last 2 times in the finals, they was actually the higher seed, which is funny. For y'all don't know, and the younger ones that don't know, the Bulls were actually the lower seed. Just like Milwaukee was the lower seed when they played the Suns a couple years back. Let me see something right quick. What season? Was it 1976 NBA Finals? When the Celtics played the Suns? Was that 1976? Yes, it was. It was 1976. Was the Suns the highest seed that year? Because this would be funny if they was. Let's see here. Nope. And that was the only finals where they was not the highest seed. They was 42-40. In the Western Conference 4th. Celtics was 54-28. All right. But every NBA Finals that the Suns been in, the 3 that they've been in, they lost in 6 games. But anyways, back to the point. But that's one thing, a couple of things I learned watching the what the freak happened to what I was looking for? I had everything planned and everything just changes. I hate when that happens. One thing I learned watching the 92 NBA Finals. The Portland Trailblazers that year, they weren't no slouches. They really weren't. On the contrary of what the fans think, or some of these younger people on here talking. Now, the Portland Trailblazers that year, I know they didn't win 60 games. I think they won 50-something games that year. I want to be exact what they was that year. So I'm going to look up the 90. There was 57 and 25. They beat that year the Lakers in 4 games, Suns in 5 games, and the Jazz in 6 games. So they pretty much ran through the West, only losing 4 games in total. Who was the leading scorer? As we all know, the star of that team was Clyde Drexler. Clyde Drexler led the team in the playoffs with 25 points. Regular season with 25 points. The playoffs with 26 points. He was only 29. I think, yeah, he was 29 that year. He 29, looking like he was 49 with that balding crowd. No disrespect to people who got bald. And Jordan was already bald by that time himself. But anyways, they was a great team. I think I already did the stats for them. They was 7th in offensive rating, 3rd in defensive rating, scoring 111.4 points a game, 4th in the league, allowing opponents 104 points, 12th in the league. Coached by Rick Alderman. He's 57-25. So they was a very formidable team. They was a well-played team as well. I think it was, what game was it? Was it game 5 or game 4? It was one of those games where they absolutely just outplayed Chicago. They absolutely outplayed Chicago, but um, it's another thing I learned that I already pretty much knew. Uh, always had JJ Redick going around talking about the players of the past, maybe the 60s, 50s, and 70s were just plumbers and all this other stuff. And the younger fans that don't know any better, that don't even try, because there is some footage of 60s players. There's footage of Wilt playing, Bill Russell playing on YouTube, but they don't probably look it up. These dudes were just as athletic, just as strong, as athletic as they were, and it was a little bit tougher too, probably 10 times tougher. And Clyde Drexler, he was no slouch athletically either. I think it was one of the games in the finals. He came out and blocked Jordan's shot out of nowhere. He got high up there. So he wasn't no slouch at all. That's why he's top 50 and top 75 and a Hall of Famer. But I know something about both of these teams. Both of these teams were well-oiled offensive-wise, too, passing that ball around. Jordan knew he was a star. Clyde knew he was a star. They tried to play that up going into this finals. Both of them pretty much did their thing in the finals, with Jordan and his team just outlasting the Trailblazers in 6 games. I think one of the reasons why Scotty, I'm sitting here watching this, one of the reasons why Scotty's so, I don't know if it's played up for that book that came out 2 years ago and just the way he feels. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he got confused with, maybe to get in his head that at one point in time, I think it was game 6. The Trailblazers was up by like 10 or something like that. I can't remember the exact how much points they was up, but they was up late in the second half, or I should say in the second half in game 6. Phil takes Jordan out, and I think it's just Pippen and a couple of the reserves, and they come roaring back, and Jordan's put back in, and Jordan does his thing, put the icing on the cake, cherry on top, and beat the Trailblazers to win their second NBA Finals. So, back to back. So I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a whole bunch of jealousy with Scotty. But I don't know why Scottie Pippen feels underwhelmed or unappreciated, because I was sitting there, because at the end of this, all 9 hours, or every game I should say, this 9 hour watching the Bulls play is actually on the Free Dawkins YouTube channel, so check that out. I think he just finished 7 hours of Kobe's highlights, so you can go check that out too. You gotta watch it in parts, because it is 9 hours of watching the Bulls winning the finals. But it was an interview right after the game 6, and Jordan made sure to give credit to his team, the coaches, everyone, even the opponents. I think he even went over when they was done celebrating, probably went over to congratulate Clyde Drexler on the game well played. They beat him. But Jordan made sure always to give Scottie Pippen, everyone, Bill Cartwright, Horace Grant, the credit. Couldn't have done it without his teammates. He always said that. So I don't know what Scotty's tripping about. And on the contrary, what I used to believe, or what people used to say, maybe they was just Jordan haters and didn't like Jordan when I was little and didn't know much, but they used to say Jordan was a ball hog, selfish, all this type of stuff. Now I ain't saying Jordan is the perfect person. Ain't nobody on this earth perfect. But to say all that and then actually watch these games and hear the interviews and all this other stuff, some of it is false. On the court, I mean. Now, off the court, that's a different story, but people do change. So, I don't know how Jordan is now. He's a 60-year-old man, going on 61 in a couple of days. I'm sure whatever he felt about himself is probably more humble now. Who knows? He said the same thing about Kobe. As you get older, hopefully you tend to get more mature, more humble, and leave whatever young stuff that you did behind. But some people don't. Who knows? But anyways, pretty much some say this was the best Bulls team that won the finals. Better than 93, better than 96, 97, and 98. I do say this, when it was time to answer the call in the games, Jordan's teammates like John Paxson and Horace Grant and Bill Cartwright delivered. So there's that. But Jordan, think about this bad teammate and all this stuff, because I want to touch on this in a different video with Kobe, between Kobe and LeBron. All this bad teammate and all this stuff, it's just like, when you want something so badly, when you ultra competitive, when you want to win, there's going to be some times where people will be nasty, a little bit hard, a little bit not feeling the nonsense, leaving the nonsense out. That's pretty much what you have to do in order to achieve something. Sometimes you have to cut out the nonsense and get away the goofiness and cut people out or be hard on people. It's the way it is if you want to achieve and be great. But anyways, I'll touch on more on that later in the next video. But anyways, just some of the things I learned watching these two NBA finals as I start the third one pretty soon. I do realize this. The presentation on NBC with the NBA finals, and even just basketball in general, was just so much better than what it is now. Like in the beginning of this video, game one for the NBA 91 NBA finals with the Lakers and Bulls, just the presentation showing the hype and the fans and all this was so much done. It was done so much better than what it is now. Now it's just a bunch of jokes and a bunch of glazing going on one player. But anyways, that's all I got to say about it. I don't want to make this video too long. But for any of you old schools, or you I can't even think of the word, not old school, OGs out there, tell me what you guys think. Any young ones that truly know the game of basketball and history, tell me what y'all think also.